how do we overcome that? I'm not sure. You know, because we're dealing with technologies that are, particularly AI, it's still in its infancy, and it is becoming more sophisticated at a breakneck pace. At the political level, it ultimately comes down to the quality of leaders that we have. And I think that we should be very, very direct in holding our leaders to account. Again, when I was in Washington, they had President Obama's trade commissioner, who had been mayor of Dallas, who spoke to us. And he said, you know, one of the questions I get all the time is, how do we improve the political system? And he said, well, my answer is stop electing jerks. What we need to do is to expect better of our political leaders. To say to them, we don't want pandering from you. We want somebody who puts the public interest first. And who talks less about me and more about we, about what we have in common and what we need to do together, and focus more on healing than on polarizing. I'm going a bit far afield here, but if you'll bear with me with a critique of the political system. I think one of the reasons why things are so badly polarized is that we have built a political system in Canada. It's not as bad as it is in the US, but one that rewards bad behavior. When I was in Parliament as a progressive conservative, we were a minority party. If we wanted to win, what you had to do is you had to reach out to people who hadn't been supporting you and to broaden the coalition to bring them in. Politics has changed. We've moved to wedge politics. You don't need a majority today. What you need is a plurality, and you need to have your opposition splintered. And so you play to your base. You build your base, and you make sure your base is unassailable. And then what you do is you find the wedge issues that split the opposition in several different ways. The Conservatives would be the government today if the NDP hadn't collapsed. That's the nature of wedge politics, but you have essentially almost a two-party system in this election. So wedge politics encourages polarization and encourages people to play to their base instead of reaching out and finding the Canadian compromise on which the country is founded. Secondly, I was a strong advocate of the election expenses system, putting a cap on expenditures, saying that business and labor couldn't make donations, that you would get it from individuals. But the downside of that is how do you get the $25 donations from hundreds of thousands of people? You do it by rage farming, by sending out those emails that say the other side is trying to steal democracy, they're trying to cheat you, and I'm the only thing that's standing between you and disaster. So there has to be to do this. There has to be the constant crisis. It has to be driven by hate, and it has to be polarizing in everything you do. The third thing that I think encourages this is that we put a cap on spending during the elections, and that's fine. I don't disagree with that. But what you have is no cap on spending before elections. So you drive yourself into the permanent election campaign where political parties that are successful raising millions and millions of dollars spend that money on very partisan campaigns before the election campaign ever takes place. What are they doing? They're usually attacking the opposition party, whoever they are, and polarizing things. All of those elements combine with each other to deepen the divisions in society at a time when more than anything else what we need is a sense of consensus and respect for one another and desire to work together. So that's a very meandering answer to a short question. Sorry, please.